Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my Ark Survival Ascended content. So today folks, I want to talk to you about the latest community crunch, and I'm really excited to actually make a video about a community crunch again because it's been a little while for me. It's been a minute since I've made a video on a community crunch because honestly, for a long time, the community crunches have just been kind of blah and kind of lackluster and just dumb and stupid and not any real good updates for a long time. I mean, that's just, I gave up there for a while because it was just too silly. The stuff that they were saying in their community crunches, they were obviously just deflecting and delaying and general wildcard types, tactics. But this time it's really awesome. It's really good news to see, and it's not what the fan base probably wanted to hear because the news is wrapped up with a delay. But I think if you look under the surface and really look at the quantity of the announcement and the content that they're saying of the message that they're putting out, I think, like me, you can find a silver lining in this one. So what the main thrust of the community crunch this time, this is community crunch number 451, Unreal Engine 5.5 and roadmap update. The main thrust of the update is this right here, this Unreal Engine 5.5 news. So this is something that we've been waiting to hear on for a while because our hopes are that whenever they start to actually push out this Unreal Engine 5.5 upgrade to us, that it will greatly improve the quality of the game on how it runs. Mainly is what I'm hoping for, and obviously it would be really neat if it would look better, allow us to have better features that we can have in the game and stuff like that because of the the increased developing capability that they'll have by using Unreal Engine 5.5. And one of the things that's going to be super cool about it, we'll get into a minute, is talking about how they're going to reduce the base game installation size. That's going to be super cool. But they're saying, so the biggest project we're working on at the moment is the engine upgrade to Unreal 5.5. No shocker, we all knew that. We were just kind of waiting on them to deliver an announcement about this, about when it was going to be released. This is a massive undertaking by the team, and it is taking longer than we've anticipated. Okay, that's understandable. This is a major deal, so thank you for acknowledging it and actually telling us. Wildcard does seem to be getting better about their news that they're pushing out about what's going on. So we're starting to really see some interaction from the company that we haven't seen in a long time, and it's really kind of refreshing, honestly, and I'm liking it. It's still our highest priority internally. Basically, all of the core engineering resources at the company are focused on this, so that's really super cool to see them actually say that, hey, this is our #1 priority internally, and a lot of our people are focused on this. We're targeting a launch sometime between April 15th to May 15th, so that's a 1-month window. It's honestly a little sooner than I had suspected, because I honestly thought that when we finally got this notice about their plans for the upgrade, I had a feeling it was going to be pushed out 3 or 4 months. So I'm actually kind of surprised in this date right here, and I'm glad. I'm ready for them to do it because I want to see what's going to happen with the game. I think it's going to be great. We're primarily still working on eliminating bugs that have occurred as a result of the upgrade on the already existing content. Well, we know that's going to happen because anytime Wildcard releases anything, they break, fix 2 things and break 10. So that's just the spaghetti code design of this game, and hopefully this Unreal Engine 5.5 upgrade will help them develop smarter in the future to where they can avoid some of this stuff. The patch that rolls out with the upgrade will provide immediate benefits to performance, namely around rendering and load times, which are two things that are a big deal in the way the game performs. So if they're going to increase performance around those two things in rendering and load time, that's going to be a significant change in the way the game looks and plays and reacts. Rendering is always a problem in Ark. They're constantly messing with the render distance to try to cut down on the load on the game itself, and it can get annoying. I don't know how many times I've been out doing a meat run and then all of a sudden a giga pops in, and you're just like, whoa, where did that come from? Right on top of you. That's rendering issues right there. So if a lot of that gets corrected, that will be great, because I would love to be able to set the draw distance a lot farther away when I'm playing my game so that I can see stuff in the distance without actually sacrificing performance to do it. A lot of times you have to turn down stuff to actually get the game to perform like you would like it to and still be able to play at a reasonable graphical level. Load times increase, so that would be great, and we'll also be structuring the game packages. And this is really cool. This is really cool right here. Structuring the game packages so that maps other than the island become optional downloads, which will significantly reduce the size of the base game installation. For so many years, we have struggled with the spaghetti code situation of Ark, that whenever there's an update, you basically have to reinstall the whole game again, and that's so annoying, and it's hindering for people that don't have the greatest internet in the world, because they may be locked out of playing for days because of an update, and it's happened quite frequently. It used to happen to me in the past a lot, and it used to be so annoying. I used to have to go over to different people's houses to get the updates because my internet was so bad, and I could never get it for Ark because I'd basically have to reinstall the whole client every time we did an update, and that just killed me. But now I've actually got some really good internet, so I don't have that problem anymore. So it's not so much of an issue for me as it was in the past, but it still is an issue for a lot of people. So that's going to be cool. What that's going to allow you to do is, let's say the island is going to be one that you have to have. It's the base game, so you have to download that with the client. But then you may be able to go in there, and if you don't choose to play Aberration but you own it, you can tick a box to uncheck it, and you can have it be deleted from the download so that you don't have to load those assets and worry about updating. When you update that, it has to go through the process of updating those files too. And then you could do that with every map you don't play. So let's say you don't play Aberration, you don't play the Center, you don't play Scorched Earth. You can take all that size of files out of your installation, and it will make your upgrades go a lot smoother. When there's less files to load and less files to constantly update, there's also going to be less chance for errors and corrupted files and things like that. So it's going to be nice if we can do that. That's something the player base has wanted for so long, and now with the way that they're going to be developing the game going forward using Unreal Engine 5.5, they'll be able to do that. So that's really cool. We'll be using the new tools available from the engine to improve our pipelines and workflow, which should result in a higher quality product. That's always desirable right there. We'll take that. This will primarily be noticed on new releases such as Ragnarok, which is currently being developed in the 5.5 version of the engine. I am so thrilled to hear them say that, because Ragnarok is the next map that is slated for release other than the expansion Lost Colony, and that is one of the most beloved maps in all of Ark history. This is going to be the map that the most people are just kind of salivating over and waiting on, because they love Ragnarok so much. They love the oceans of Ragnarok, they love the land masses of Ragnarok, and that is going to be a map that's going to be super popular. So for them to be saying that they're developing it in 5.5 exclusively, that's good for the community, as long as they can make this stuff work. If they can get the game to run, and if everything goes, sort of smooth, that'll be great. We realize that there's going to be bugs and there's going to be issues. We're going to have to work through that. We're going to have to be patient with that for a little while, because there's always going to be stuff like that happen when you're trying to take a game that's coded like Ark is now and reformatting it and redeveloping it in a different version of a creation engine. There's always going to be some problems and some hiccups, but the thing that really gives me hope is to see them say, hey, it's still our highest priority internally. Everybody's working on it. We're focused on this. It's those kind of statements that really give me hope and help me to know that they're hopefully going to be able to get through this. Because with the nonsense that Snail's been doing lately with their Aquatica or Quackica or whatever they call it, Wildcard needs to really double down and make sure that they're producing the best quality product that they can and that they're fixing the most bugs that they can fix. Because if they don't, Snail is going to drag them down to the point that they're going to have to close this game down. Snail is the leech on the side of their cheek, and it's just sucking them dry. And if they don't make sure that the product that they are working on is in the best shape that it can be, they're going to be in big trouble. Now, the last week we've seen a ton of bug fixes, and I was impressed with the last update that we got, because it was like 5 miles long with all the things that they had fixed and changed and made for the better. So it really looks like they're doubling down and really getting to work focusing on making Ark better, because Ark Survival Ascended needs to survive. We need to just ignore all the nonsense that Snail's doing with their silly nonsense that they're trying to do, and we need to focus on hoping that Ark Survival Ascended is going to make it, because that's where the future for Ark is. If it doesn't happen with Ark Survival Ascended, it's not going to happen at all. Period. End of story. If it doesn't work with Ark Survival Ascended, the game's going down. So that's just it in a nutshell. So we need to really cross our fingers and hope that Wildcard can pull this one out. And with the long list of fixes that they made last week, I really think that they're focusing, and I really think that they're working hard. Then they go into talking about the concerns that they're having about the mods. When the upgrade happens, what will it do to the mods? They understand that there's going to be problems, and you got to know that there's going to be problems with that. So they're doing their best to eliminate as many crashes as they can and resolve issues before they happen, but that's going to take a lot of testing, but it does seem like they are working at it. Our partners at Overwolf will be recooking all the ASA mods automatically for UE 5.5, and while some of the thousands of mods may potentially have new functional issues, if there are any modding specific issues caused by the engine upgrade, we'll work to fix them expeditiously. Chances are we may be facing it too. So hey, I'm liking this communication. They're being straight up honest with us. They're telling us what they're doing. They're telling us what to expect and what's going to go on. So this is almost like a new era at Wildcard. I don't know who made this announcement up, but it almost sounds like Dolly didn't have a part in it, because it doesn't sound smart aleck like her normal communications do. So I'm thinking that maybe this is Wildcard turning over a new leaf. I don't know. Fingers crossed. But that pretty much sums up where they're at with 5.5. They said there's more that they could talk about, as well as some of the particular features we're excited about. That's also hopeful, but we'll leave it at that for now. So the TLDR on this situation, for everybody that don't want to read all that, 5.5 upgrade is still underway, targeting a launch between April and May. 5.5 is the top priority for the team. That's good to see. Some immediate performance benefits, more performance and graphical benefits long term as we continue to develop. So that's hopeful. Looking towards the future. They sound like they have a plan. They don't sound like they're going to let Snail get them down and just give up because of the nonsense Snail's doing. So that gives me hope. It sounds like they really do have a long-term plan, and that's very nice to see. Additional maps will immediately become optional downloads. That's going to be great for file size and update speed. All mods will be automatically recooked by Overwolf, hoping that the future upgrades won't be as painful, but we'll be looking into longer term systems too, and in particular load old cooked data and shaders. So that's really sweet. They go on to say one more thing here and talk about a low system requirement mode that they're going to try to get the game to run on GeForce 1080 level cards. So if they can get that to happen in systems that have 16 gigabytes of RAM, the game won't look pretty, but it will be intelligible. If that's possible, then that's going to open the door for a lot more people to play Ark, possibly, that don't have the best systems and couldn't run it before. Maybe they will be able to run it with this in place. I know a lot of people personally that want to play Ark with me all the time, but they say, I can't because my PC just can't handle Ark. And that's a serious concern, because Ark Survival Ascended is a resource hog, and it requires a toaster oven to be able to cook that game. And if you don't have it, man, you may not be playing Ark for real, because you can only turn down so many things till you get to the point that the game is just not playable at that point. And so this may help a lot more people get in the door to Ark again, like we've seen in the past. So that's the update for today. I was really excited to do a little talk about this Community Crunch, because for the first time in a long time, Community Crunch 451, I'm actually excited about what I'm seeing. Yeah, it's a news about a delay. Woohoo, big deal. But look at the content of what they're saying and understand that this is going to be good for us in the long run. So I give Studio Wildcard a thumbs up for this news announcement, even though it was a little bit later than we would like to have had it. We'd like to have had it a couple weeks ago, but I'm very thankful that they finally come out and told us this, let us know the plan, let us know there's hope, and give us hope in knowing that they're focusing on their game and not letting the nonsense that Snail is doing get them down. So thumbs up, Wildcard. Good luck to you. Please make this game survive. We're all counting on you. So thank you for watching my content today. I really appreciate you being here. If you've liked what you've seen, or if you've learned anything, or you've been entertained, please think about subscribing, sharing it around, and like it. I would really appreciate it. It would help me reach a bigger audience, which in turn would help me out personally and help the community out by adding more players to the player base so that we can have more people to interact with. So I hope you have a great weekend. It's the start of the weekend for us here in the USA. Our work week's finally done, and I hope you have a great weekend and a good time. Let's go play Ark ×3 rates this weekend. We'll see you later. Peace.